The alarm bells rang through the giant space station called Nexus Prime. Admiral Tejo walked quickly down the metal hallways. His blue uniform was neat and clean, but his face showed worry. He had never heard these alarms before. They meant something very bad had happened. The big meeting room was full of alien creatures from all over the galaxy. They sat around a huge round table. Some looked like tall crystals that glowed with soft light. Others were covered in scales and had tentacles instead of arms. A few looked almost like humans but had strange-colored skin and extra eyes. Tejo took his seat and looked around. Something was wrong. Very wrong. For the first time in 300 years, there were no humans at the table. The seats marked with Earth symbols were empty, all 12 of them. "Where are they?" asked a voice that sounded like wind through rocks. It came from Veltara, the leader of the council. She was tall and made of living crystal. Light moved through her body like water. "Where are all the humans?" Tejo stood up slowly. He had served in the Andromedan fleet for 40 years. He had seen wars and peace talks and strange things in deep space. But this was different. This scared him. "They are gone," he said. His voice was quiet, but everyone heard him. All of them. Every human colony, every human ship, every human space station. They all went dark at the same time. 3 days ago, at exactly 1547 Galactic Standard Time. The room became very quiet. Some aliens made worried sounds. Others just stared. "What do you mean gone?" Veltara asked. Her crystal body flashed brighter. "I mean they stopped talking to us, all at once. No goodbye messages, no emergency calls, no fight or explosion. They just stopped." Tejo touched a button on the table. A big screen appeared in the air above them. It showed a map of the galaxy with little lights for each world. "Look at this. The red dots are human worlds. All of them are silent. There were hundreds of red dots. Earth, Mars, the colonies around other stars, the mining stations, the research ships far from home. All red, all quiet. Maybe they are having technical problems," said a creature that looked like a blue octopus with 6 arms. "Maybe their communication system broke." Tejo shook his head. "We sent ships to check. The human worlds are still there. People are still alive. But they will not talk to us. They will not even come outside when our ships land. They just ignore us." "Good," said Veltara. Many of the crystal people around the table made sounds that meant they agreed. Maybe the humans have finally learned to behave. Maybe they understand that they cannot break our laws anymore. An alien with green skin and 4 eyes laughed. "Do you think they are scared? Maybe they know we were getting tired of their tricks." More aliens joined the laughter, but Tejo did not laugh. Neither did some of the others. They remembered what humans were really like. Humans were strange. They never followed rules the right way. When the galaxy said, "You cannot go there," humans found a way to go anyway. When the law said, "This is not allowed," humans would find tiny words in the law that made it allowed after all. They were always causing trouble. But they were also useful trouble. When pirates attacked trade ships, humans would fight them even though it was not their job. When aliens could not understand each other, humans would help them talk. When someone needed help and the law said no one could give it, humans would help anyway and deal with the punishment later. "There is someone we should ask," said a voice from the back of the room. Everyone turned to look. It was a creature from the water world, with blue skin and gills on her neck. "Dr. Haywan, she is human. She was not on any human world when this happened." Veltara's crystal body went dark for a moment. She did not like being reminded that one human was still around. "Bring her here," she said. 30 minutes later, Dr. Haywan entered the meeting room. She was small compared to most of the aliens, with black hair and brown eyes. She wore a simple white coat with science tools hanging from it. She had been studying water creatures on the planet Merdani when the humans went silent. She looked around the room and saw all the empty seats where humans should be sitting. Her face went pale. "What happened?" she asked. "Where is everyone?" Tejo explained everything again. As he talked, Haiwan's face showed more and more fear. "You do not understand," she said when he finished. "Humans do not just disappear. We do not give up. If we went silent, something very bad happened, or—" She stopped talking and looked worried. "Or what?" Veltara demanded. "Or we had to leave very quickly to protect everyone else." The room became quiet again. Nobody wanted to think about what could make humans run away. Humans did not run from anything. "It does not matter," Veltara said finally. "They are gone. Now we can fix all the problems they caused. We can make the galaxy follow proper laws again." She pressed a button, and another screen appeared. It showed long lists of rules and laws. "These are all the human territories, all the special deals they made, all the exceptions to our laws that we gave them. Starting today, we take it all back." "Wait," Haywan said. "You cannot just—" "We can do anything we want," Veltara cut her off. "The humans are gone. Their lawyers are gone. Their diplomats who twisted our words are gone. Finally, the galaxy will have proper order." Many aliens made happy sounds. They had been angry about human behavior for a long time. But Taiho felt worried. He remembered the old days before humans joined the galaxy. Things had been very different then, more violent, more chaotic, less hopeful. "What if they come back?" he asked. Veltara laughed. It sounded like breaking glass. "Look around you, Admiral. Do you see any humans coming to save the day? They are gone, and we are better off without them." As the meeting ended and aliens began planning how to divide up human space, Dr. Haywan sat alone in the empty human section. She touched one of the empty chairs and whispered something too quiet for anyone else to hear. Outside the big windows of Nexus Prime, the stars looked the same as always. But somehow the galaxy felt much bigger and much more dangerous than it had 3 days ago. And in the silence of space, no one heard the first small sounds of things beginning to break apart. 3 months had passed since the humans went silent. Captain Dong Hyun stood on the bridge of his patrol ship, looking at the wreckage floating in space. The medical supply transport had been torn apart. Boxes of medicine and food drifted among pieces of metal and broken glass. "How many ships is this now?" he asked his second officer. 17 this week, sir," came the reply, "all on routes that used to be protected." Dong Hyun rubbed his tired eyes. He belonged to the Vextari people, known for being very organized and following rules. His gray skin had patterns that showed his rank, and his forearms moved quickly as he worked his ship's controls. But these days, organization did not seem to help much. "Sir, we are getting a call from the survivors," his communications officer said. The main screen lit up with the face of a scared alien. She had tentacles instead of hair, and her green skin was pale with fear. "Please help us," she said. "They took everything. Our medicine, our food, even our water recyclers. My children are sick and I do not know what to do." Dong Hyun felt angry and sad at the same time. "Who attacked you? Did you see their ships?" They called themselves the Red Star Pirates, but they were not like pirates from before. These ones were desperate, hungry. They said they had no choice. After the call ended, Dong Hyun stared at the star maps on his screen. Red marks showed where attacks had happened. All of them were on routes that humans used to travel. Before, the humans disappeared. These routes had been different. Humans would fly through space in small, fast ships. Other aliens said they were smugglers and criminals. The council said they were breaking territorial laws and trade agreements. But somehow pirates never attacked ships when humans were around. Now Dong Hyun understood why. The humans had not been just smuggling goods. They had been protecting the trade routes. When pirates saw human ships nearby, they stayed away. Not because humans were scary fighters, but because humans were complicated. If you attacked a trade ship when humans were watching, weird things would happen. Your hideout would somehow become known to the authorities. Your stolen goods would mysteriously disappear. Your ship's computer would get viruses that made embarrassing messages appear on your screens. Humans had ways of making life difficult for pirates without actually fighting them. But now the humans were gone. The pirates were getting desperate because their old agreements with humans no longer worked, and innocent ships were easy targets. Dong-hyun flew his ship to the nearest space station to make his report. The station was called Border Point 7, and it used to be a busy place where many different aliens would meet to trade. Now it was almost empty. He found the station manager, a tall being with crystal skin like Veltara but smaller and less important. Her name was Crystal and she looked very tired. "Captain Dong-hyun," she said. "Thank goodness you are here. We have so many problems." "Tell me," he said. "Food shipments are not coming. The human traders used to bring supplies from agricultural worlds, but they always flew through the neutral zone. That was illegal, but they did it anyway because it was faster. Now no one will risk going through there, so our food comes by the long route. It takes 6 weeks instead of 6 days." She led him through the station. Many shops were closed. The few aliens still there looked worried and hungry. "It gets worse," Crystal continued. "The waste recycling systems are breaking down. Humans used to sell us replacement parts that they got from, well, we never asked where they got them. But the parts worked and they were cheap. Now we have to order official parts through proper channels. It takes months and costs 10 times more." They stopped at a medical clinic, where a doctor was treating a child with blue fur and big eyes. The child was coughing badly. "What is wrong with her?" Dong-hyun asked. The doctor, an alien with 6 arms and a sad expression, shook her head. "Lung infection. I need a special medicine to cure it. Before, human traders would bring me medicines from many different worlds. Some were experimental drugs that were not officially approved yet, but they worked. Now I can only get approved medicines through legal channels. This child will be dead before the paperwork is finished." Dong-hyun felt a cold feeling in his stomach. "How many children are sick?" "Dozens, and it is getting worse." As they walked back through the station, Crystal explained more problems. "The communication network is failing too. Humans had these illegal relay stations they built in empty space. The council said they violated territorial boundaries, but the humans said the space was not claimed by anyone. Those relays let us talk to distant worlds quickly. Now that they are shut down, it takes hours to send a simple message." "Why do we not just use the official communication networks?" Dong-hyun asked. "Have you tried to get permission to build a new relay station?" Crystal laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "First, you need approval from the Communications Authority. That takes 6 months. Then you need environmental impact studies, another year. Then you need to prove that existing systems cannot handle the traffic. 2 more years. By the time you get permission, the need has changed." They reached the station's main computer center. A technician with tentacles for arms was hitting a computer with a tool. "What is wrong now?" Crystal asked. "The navigation computer crashed again," the technician said. "These systems were designed by humans 20 years ago. They break our rules about computer architecture, but they work really well. Worked, I mean. Now that humans are not here to fix them, we have to replace them with approved systems." "That sounds good," Dong-hyun said. "It would be, except the approved systems are designed for single-species use. They cannot handle the different input methods that all our alien species need. Humans designed these computers to work for everyone, even though that was not the proper way to do it." Dong-hyun spent 3 more hours on the station, and every person he talked to had similar stories. Humans had built a network of illegal solutions to problems that legal systems could not handle quickly enough. Black market medicine, unauthorized trade routes, unofficial communication relays, mixed technology computer systems, all things that broke rules but kept the galaxy working. As he prepared to leave the station, Dong-hyun got a call from his headquarters. His commander appeared on the screen looking angry. "Captain, where is your report on the pirate attacks?" "I am still investigating, sir." "Well, investigate faster. The council wants to know why our increased patrols are not stopping the attacks." "Sir, I think the problem is not more patrols. The problem is that humans used to handle this differently." The commander's face became dark. "Captain, humans were criminals. They broke our laws. We are better off without them. But sir, the attacks are getting worse. Maybe we should try to understand what humans were actually doing. The council has made its decision. Humans were bad for order and discipline. We will solve these problems the right way, through proper legal channels and official procedures. The call ended, leaving Dong-hyun alone with his thoughts. He looked out at the stars and wondered where all the humans had gone. More importantly, he wondered if they were ever coming back, because every day made it clearer that the galaxy was falling apart without them. And the worst part was, nobody in charge seemed to notice. 6 months had passed since the humans disappeared. Commander Jiwoo stood in the docking bay of her ship, watching her crew load supplies for what might be a very dangerous mission. Her ship was called the Star Bridge, and it was one of the few vessels in the galaxy with a mixed crew of different alien species. Jiwoo was from the planet Kepler 442b, where humans had built their biggest research station. She had grown up around humans and learned their ways. Unlike many aliens, she did not think humans were just troublemakers. She thought they were teachers, even if they did not mean to be. Commander, called her first officer, a being called Minsu who had scales instead of skin and breathed through gills. The Quell representatives are here. Jiwoo walked to the meeting room where 3 crystal beings waited. They glowed with soft blue light, but their movements seemed stiff and worried. Commander Jiwoo, said the tallest one, we need your help. The frontier colonies are rebelling against council rule. They refuse to follow proper procedures for resource distribution. What kind of procedures? Jiwoo asked. All requests for supplies must go through the central administration. Each request must be reviewed by 3 different departments. This ensures fairness and prevents waste. How long does that take? 6 to 8 weeks for emergency supplies. Longer for routine requests. Jiwoo tried not to show her feelings on her face. And how long did it take when humans handled frontier supply runs? The crystal being's light dimmed. That is not important. Human methods were chaotic and uncontrolled. Many of their actions were completely illegal. But they worked. Working is not the same as being right. After the Quell left, Jiwoo called her crew together. There were 8 of them, representing 5 different species. In the old days, such a crew would have been impossible. Each species had rules about working with others. Hierarchies and territorial instincts made cooperation very difficult. But humans had taught them tricks for working together. Small things mostly. Humans would translate not just languages but cultural meanings. When the rock-like silicates got angry, humans knew to give them time to cool down. When the water-breathing Murdani felt overwhelmed, humans would dim the lights and play soft sounds. When the insect-like Vextari became obsessed with details, humans would give them important but simple tasks to focus on. Now, without humans to help, Jiwoo's crew struggled with basic cooperation. I still do not understand why we must go to this place, said Baum, her silicate engineer. His stone body was dark gray, which meant he was worried. The last human ship went there and never came back. That is exactly why we must go, said Sora, the Murdani navigator. Water flowed over her blue skin from small tubes connected to her breathing apparatus. We need to know what happened to them. The space there is restricted, complained Yuki, the Vextari communications officer. Her insect-like body clicked as she moved. We will need 17 different permits to enter that system legally. How long to get those permits? Jiwoo asked. 4 months minimum. We do not have 4 months. The galaxy is falling apart now. Jiwoo made a decision that humans had taught her to make. Sometimes the right thing to do was the illegal thing to do. We leave tonight. No permits. The ship flew through hyperspace for 3 days. As they traveled, Jiwoo studied reports from across the galaxy. The news was bad and getting worse. The Andromedan military had taken control of 12 human colonies, but they could not maintain them. Human settlements were designed in ways that seemed chaotic, but actually worked very well. Andromedan military organization could not handle the complex relationships between different groups of colonists. The Quell had tried to establish proper, legal systems in human trading posts, but their rigid rules could not deal with the flexible agreements that humans had made between different species. Trade was collapsing. Worst of all, 3 major wars had started between species that humans used to keep peaceful. Humans had served as neutral mediators, finding compromise solutions that satisfied everyone just enough to avoid fighting. Without human negotiators, old grudges were turning into new violence. "Commander?" called Hayun from the sensor station. "We are approaching the coordinates of the last human transmission." Jiwoo looked at the main screen. Space looked empty, but her instruments showed otherwise. "There," Sora said, pointing with one of her webbed fingers. Metal debris scattered over a huge area. As they flew closer, the size of the debris field became clear. It was enormous. Hundreds of human ships had been here, maybe thousands. All abandoned. "Are there any bodies?" Jiwoo asked. Bomb checked his scanners. "No organic matter at all. It is like everyone just left." They found the largest piece of wreckage, part of a massive human research vessel called the Horizon's Edge. Jiwoo led a team aboard to investigate. The ship was intact, but empty. Everything was clean and organized, as if the crew had carefully prepared to leave. In the main laboratory, they found something strange. "Commander, look at this," Yuki called. She was standing in front of a large computer display that was still working. The screen showed a map of the galaxy with moving patterns of light. Numbers and symbols appeared and disappeared in complex patterns. "What is it?" Jiwoo asked. "I think it is some kind of prediction system," said Dr. Hana, their science officer. She was one of the few remaining humans in the galaxy, and she had joined Jiwoo's crew to search for answers. "Look at these calculations. They are tracking cosmic radiation patterns." "What kind of radiation?" "I am not sure. But look at this." Hana pointed to a date on the screen. 6 months ago, this system predicted a massive radiation event, the same day humans disappeared. They spent hours exploring the ship and downloading its computer files. What they found was disturbing. The humans had been tracking something they called the convergence, a wave of cosmic energy that was moving through the galaxy. Their illegal deep space monitoring networks had detected it years ago. The same networks that the Council had ordered shut down for violating territorial boundaries. "The humans knew something was coming," Jiwoo said as they returned to their ship. "Something dangerous enough to make them leave." "But why did they not warn us?" Bomb asked. Hana was quiet for a long moment. "Maybe they tried. Look at all the emergency requests they made to the Council in the last year. Requests to expand the monitoring networks. Requests to share their data. Requests to prepare emergency evacuation procedures. What happened to those requests? The Council rejected them all. They said human methods were unscientific and their data was unreliable. As the Star Bridge prepared to leave the debris field, they detected something else, a massive object at the center of the wreckage, hidden by the scattered ships. It was not human-made. It was something ancient and alien, shaped like a crystal but the size of a small moon. Energy flowed across its surface in patterns that hurt to look at directly. "What is that thing?" Yuki whispered. "I think," Hana said slowly, "it is what the humans were trying to warn us about." The crystal object pulsed with light, and every instrument on Jiwoo's ship went crazy for a moment. When the readings stabilized, they showed something impossible. The object was not just producing radiation, it was changing space itself. And according to the human calculations they had found, it was just the beginning. The real convergence was still coming. And without humans to help them, the galaxy had no idea how to survive it. Dr. Haewon ran through the corridors of Nexus Prime, clutching a data tablet against her chest. Behind her, alarm sirens wailed and emergency lights flashed red. The space around the station was bending and twisting in ways that should not be possible. "Where is the Council?" she shouted to a security guard. "Emergency meeting room 7, the guard replied, his tentacles waving in panic. Haewon burst into the meeting room where alien leaders sat around arguing loudly. The air smelled of fear, a mix of different alien scents that meant the same thing across all species. "You must listen to me," Haewon said, breathless from running. "I know what is happening. I know what the humans were trying to warn you about." Feltara, the Crystal Council leader, glowed with angry red light. Dr. Haywan, we are dealing with a serious crisis. 3 more star systems have reported space-time distortions. We do not have time for human theories. That is exactly what this is about. Haywan slammed her tablet on the table. The screen showed the data from the horizon's edge. The humans called it the convergence. It is a test. A test? Admiral Tae-ho leaned forward. His blue face was pale with worry. Yes, that crystal object we found, it is not just ancient. It is a measuring device. It tests civilizations to see if they are ready to move to the next level. What kind of test? Asked a Vextari representative, clicking her mandibles nervously. Haywan touched the tablet, and images appeared in the air above the table. The test measures how well different species can work together when their normal systems fail. It creates chaos and sees if you can adapt. The humans figured this out months ago. Then why did they leave us? Veltara demanded. Because you would not listen to them. Look at this. More images appeared showing official documents. The humans tried to share their data with the Council. They requested emergency powers to prepare for the convergence. They asked for permission to create joint species response teams. Admiral Tae-ho read the documents with growing shame. We rejected every request. You called them panic mongers and rule breakers? Haywan continued. So they made a choice. They removed themselves from the galaxy to force you to learn what they had been trying to teach you all along. Which is what? How to work together, how to think creatively, how to break rules when the situation demands it. Veltara's crystal body flashed with denial. We have laws and procedures for everything. We do not need to break rules. Then you will fail the test, Haywan said quietly. And according to the human calculations, failure means the complete destruction of galactic civilization. Before anyone could respond, the station shook violently. Through the windows, they could see space itself rippling like water. Stars were moving in impossible patterns. The distortions are getting stronger, reported a technician. Our ships cannot navigate through the affected areas. How long do we have? Tae-ho asked. Haywan checked her tablet. According to human predictions, the convergence will reach the galactic core in 72 hours. When that happens, every star system will be affected. What do we need to do? We need to do exactly what humans would do. Break every rule that is slowing us down. Ignore territorial boundaries. Share restricted technologies between species. Work together even when it goes against our instincts. The room fell silent except for the sounds of crisis alarms. I cannot authorize that, Veltara said finally. The legal implications alone would take years to resolve. Then you sentence the galaxy to death, Haywan replied. Admiral Tae-ho stood up slowly. Dr. Haywan, what exactly do you need us to do? I need a team. People who worked with humans and learned their methods. People who are willing to act first and worry about consequences later. I know someone, said a new voice from the doorway. Commander Jiwoo entered the room with her mixed-species crew behind her. We just returned from the debris field. We saw the crystal object. We know what is coming. Commander, your presence here is illegal, Veltara said. You entered restricted space without authorization. Yes, Jiwoo said simply. And that illegal action may have saved the galaxy. We downloaded crucial data that legal channels would never have obtained. Haywan looked at Jiwoo's crew and felt the first hope she had experienced in months. These aliens had learned to work together the human way. They might be the key to survival. Who else is willing to break some laws to save everyone? Haywan, asked Engineer Kyung-min, stepped forward. He was a silicate whose rocky body showed the wear marks of working with human technology. I learned human engineering techniques. I can make alien technologies work together even when they are not supposed to. Navigator Su-jin raised her webbed hand. The Murdani's water-breathing apparatus bubbled softly. I know the secret hyperspace, routes that humans used. The illegal ones that ignore territorial boundaries. Diplomat Jae-hyun clicked his Vextari mandibles. I studied human negotiation methods. I can make species cooperate even when they hate each other. More voices joined them. Aliens who had worked closely with humans. Aliens who had learned that sometimes the best solution was not the legal solution. "This is madness," Veltara said. "You are talking about abandoning the foundations of galactic civilization." "No," Haiwan said. "We are talking about saving galactic civilization by learning what humans knew. That sometimes you have to break the foundations to build something stronger." Admiral Tejo looked around the room at the frightened faces of the council members. Then he looked at the determined faces of Haiwan's volunteers. "What do you need from us?" he asked. "Official authorization to do anything necessary to stop the convergence." "I cannot give you that. The legal procedures, then we will do it." "Without authorization," Jiwoo interrupted. "The human way." As if to emphasize her point, the station shook again. This time, pieces of the ceiling fell down. Outside, they could see ships struggling to maintain position as space itself twisted around them. "Decide quickly," Haiwan said. "In 72 hours there may not be a council left to worry about legal procedures." Veltara's crystal body flickered between different colors as she wrestled with the decision. Finally, she spoke. "I cannot officially authorize this mission." Haiwan's heart sank. "But," Veltara continued, "I will not officially stop it either. If you succeed in saving the galaxy through illegal methods, we will deal with the legal consequences later." It was not the clear support they wanted, but it was enough. "Thank you," Haiwan said. "Now we need to move fast. The convergence is accelerating." As the meeting broke up and Haiwan's team prepared for their desperate mission, Admiral Tejo pulled her aside. "Dr. Haiwan, can you really do this? Can you save us all?" She looked at him with tired but determined eyes. "I do. Not know. But I know what humans would say in this situation." "What would they say?" "They would say that when the rules do not work, you make new rules. And when making new rules is not enough, you throw out rules entirely and do whatever it takes. Is that enough? We are about to find out." The wave of energy swept across the galaxy like a storm made of light and impossible colors. Dr. Haiwan watched it approach on the main screen of her stolen ship while her mixed crew of aliens worked frantically around her. "How much time do we have?" she called out. 20 minutes until the wave reaches us," Sujin replied from the navigation station. The Murdani's hands moved quickly over controls that were never meant for her species to use. "Are all the ships in position?" Haiwan asked. Kyungmin's rocky silicate body glowed with heat from working so hard. "Yes, but I am not sure this will work. We are connecting technologies from 12 different species. They were never designed to work together." "Humans did impossible things every day," Haiwan said. "Now we have to do the same." Around them, space was filled with ships from across the galaxy. Not the official fleets of the Council, but volunteers. Pirates and smugglers who had worked with humans. Frontier colonists who had learned human ways. Scientists and engineers who understood that survival was more important than rules. Each ship carried equipment that had been stolen, borrowed, or built without permission. Weapons that violated arms treaties, computers that used illegal artificial intelligence, power sources that broke safety regulations, energy shields that ignored territorial restrictions. If the Council knew what they were doing, every person on every ship would be arrested for thousands of crimes. "Incoming transmission from Commander Jiwoo," Yuki announced. Jiwoo's face appeared on the screen. Behind her, the bridge of the Star Bridge was chaos as aliens from different species worked side by side. "Haiwan, we have problems. The Andromedan fleet is trying to stop us. They say what we are doing is too dangerous." "How close are they?" 10 minutes behind us, but they are demanding that we surrender and return to proper legal procedures for dealing with the crisis." Haiwan laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "Proper legal procedures. The galaxy is about to be destroyed and they want to fill out forms." "What are your orders?" Haiwan thought about what humans would do in this situation. They would not fight the Andromedan fleet. That would waste time and energy they needed for the real threat. But they would not give up either. "Tell the Andromedans that we are acting under emergency authority. If they want to arrest us, they can do it after we save the galaxy. And if they try to stop us, Then we outrun them. Sujin, can you find us one of those illegal hyperspace routes? The Murdani navigator's webbed fingers danced over her controls. There is a route through the Forbidden Zone. It will cut our travel time in half, but it is completely illegal and extremely dangerous. HFY finished. Perfect. Take us there. As their fleet of mismatched ships dove into hyperspace through routes that were supposed to be impossible to navigate, HFY reviewed their plan one more time. The crystal object at the center of the galaxy was not just creating the convergence wave, it was also the key to stopping it. But reaching it required breaking through space-time distortions that could destroy any ship. Military force would not work. Official technology would not work. Only human-style creative problem-solving had a chance. We are approaching the galactic core, Sujin announced. The distortions are incredible. On the screen, space looked like a broken mirror. Stars appeared in multiple places at once. Time moved in circles. Distance had no meaning. Kyungmin, are our modifications ready? The silicate engineer's body flashed with confidence. The ships are connected in a network that shares power, navigation, and defensive systems. It should let us act like one big ship instead of many small ones. Should? This has never been tried before. The technology combinations I used are theoretically impossible. Good. Humans love doing impossible things. As they entered the distortion field, reality became strange. The crew saw multiple versions of themselves. Conversations happened before and after the words were spoken. Their ship was both moving forward and standing still. I cannot navigate in this, Sujin said, her voice tight with panic. Then do not navigate, HFY replied. Feel your way through it. Trust your instincts instead of your instruments. It was the most human advice possible. Ignore the rules and trust yourself. Slowly, impossibly, their fleet worked its way through the chaos. Ships that should have been destroyed stayed intact through pure determination. Technologies that should have failed kept working because their operators refused to give up. Finally, they reached the crystal object. It was beautiful and terrible, larger than a planet and pulsing with energy that made space itself sing. As they approached, it spoke to them, not in words, but in understanding that appeared directly in their minds. You have learned, it said. You have grown beyond your limitations. The test is complete. What test? HFY asked out loud. The test of cooperation. The test of adaptation. The test of thinking beyond rules when survival demands it. Your species called humans understood this. Now you understand it too. Where are the humans? They have moved to the next level of existence. They wait to see if you are ready to join them. Around the crystal, space began to change. The convergence wave was not destroying the galaxy, it was transforming it, offering it a chance to become something more than it had been. But the transformation could only succeed if the galaxy species could work together in ways they never had before. What do we need to do? HFY asked. What you have already done. Break the rules that limit you. Trust each other. Choose cooperation over competition. Choose creativity over conformity. And if we succeed, you join humanity in a larger universe. If you fail, the crystal did not need to finish. They could feel what failure meant, the end of everything they knew. Everyone, HFY called out on the communication system that connected all their ships. This is it. We need to link all our systems together. Share everything, power, information, control, trust each other completely. That violates every security protocol in the galaxy, someone protested. Good, HFY replied. Humans never met a security protocol they could not improve by breaking it. One by one, ships across their fleet opened their systems to each other. Andromedan military computers linked to Vextari civilian networks. Quell crystal technology merged with Murdani biological systems. Silicate industrial equipment connected to human-designed interfaces. It should have been chaos. Instead, it was harmony. The crystal object pulsed brighter, and the convergence wave changed. Instead of destruction, it brought transformation. Space became more flexible, Time became more forgiving. The barriers between species began to dissolve, and through the transformed spacetime around them, human ships began to appear. They looked different now, sleeker, more advanced, glowing with energy that seemed alive. But the humans aboard them looked the same as ever, curious, determined, and slightly amused by the chaos they had left behind. "Hello, Galaxy," came a familiar human voice over the communication system. "We missed you. Are you ready to learn some new tricks?" Dr. Haywan smiled for the first time in months. "Hello, humans. We have some things to show you too." As the galaxy settled into its new transformed state, aliens and humans began working together again. But this time, it was different. The aliens had learned human lessons about flexibility and creativity. The humans had learned that sometimes the best teachers are students who surpass their teachers. The crystal object faded away, its test complete. In its place was something new, a galaxy where rules served life instead of limiting it, where different species could work together without losing what made them unique, where the impossible was just another problem to solve. And in the middle of it all, humans and aliens worked side by side, breaking old rules and making new ones, solving problems that had never existed before, and proving once again that the best way forward was often the most unexpected way. The galaxy had learned the most important human lesson of all. Sometimes the greatest act of responsibility is the courage to be irresponsible when the situation demands it. And with that lesson learned, there was no limit to what they could accomplish together.